Hi, we are Teams Forbesganj. Today we'll be covering our data visualization project on the DISE dataset. These are our team members. Education is a fundamental right of the children of India, and we'll try and show you how India has made progress over the years through our dashboards. The first dashboard that we have is our overview dashboard. If you can see, the graph to the left shows us the demographics state-wise. The color inside the graph talks about the overall literacy. If I move my cursor over a particular state, it gives me the demographics of that state in terms of male literacy, female literacy, scheduled caste population, scheduled tribe population, the overall literacy, as well as the total population. The band at the bottom right talks about the color difference. The color difference basically means the red color indicates states where the literacy rate is lower and the green where it's higher. One can also see how this dashboard changes over a period of time. So over here we have the academic year, which is presently set at 2010-11. As we move this forward, we find that most states become green, which basically indicates that the literacy rate is increasing. To understand why the literacy rate is increasing, we try to take a look at the number of schools that are being opened. Now, if you take a look at the dashboard over here, it very clearly shows that there's an increase in the schools. What's interesting to note though is that over a period of these times, there has been a change in terms of the percentage of private schools. So if you take a look at the first cursor, you find that in 2007 and 8, 19.29% of the schools were private schools. This has significantly increased to about 21.58% in 13-14, which basically means that the education system in India is growing and we have equal contribution from not only the government schools as well as from private schools. To understand whether schools being opened are directly impacting our enrollment, we take a look at the enrollment for the same period. While the total enrollment numbers for the set period remain around 150 million, what's interesting to note again is that the percentage of students getting enrolled in government schools is reducing. So what was 73.3% in 2007 and 8 has come down to 64.97% in 13-14. This basically meaning a 10% drop in terms of contribution, meaning that more children are now getting enrolled in private schools. To understand what is the other parameter driving the education in India and improving literacy rate, we try to take a look at the teachers being employed by qualification. Very clearly the dashboard shows that there's been a significant rise in terms of the total number of teachers employed for each category. This particular category being graduates, as you can see, it was about 1.8 and it's gone up to about 2.8 million. Again, postgraduates was just about a million, has gone up to about 1.9 to 2 million. Now, trying to understand the trend on top. This particular point shows us that 46.53% of our teachers were graduate and above in 2007 and 8. This has significantly increased to 61.43% in 13-14, which again emphasizing the fact that we are hiring teachers who are now qualified, who are graduate and above. So if the teacher's qualification improves, there's a direct correlation in that sense that the teachers are imparting better knowledge and hence the literacy rate of the country will improve. These parameters though are on an overview level. We try to understand what other parameters impacts people to come to school, children to come to school, and that's something that we try to understand from our improving school conditions dashboard. Now, over here you will find that we have quite a few parameters that one can test. What we try to see is that what's the impact of having good quality classrooms. So again, in 2007 and 8, 78% of the classrooms were in good condition. This has gone up to 83.3%. So again, as the period of time is increasing, the number of schools are increasing, the number of classrooms are increasing, but are good quality classrooms being made available to our students? Yes, they are. How about the trend in terms of the schools with water facilities? This particular is for the state of Andhra Pradesh. I can filter it and I can change it to the country. And if I move it to the country, you find that there's been a significant increase from 86% schools providing water to about 94% schools providing water. I can again change it back for another state and the same trends would be visible. It changes. I can also drill down further by the category, which is of the district name. So I can choose a particular district or I can take a look at all the districts in the filter. Now, again, schools with electricity, what is very evident if I go back to the all filter, which is the entire country, I can find that there's a significant increase again in the schools providing electricity. From 46% schools providing electricity, it's gone up to about 54% schools providing electricity. Again, schools providing computers, there's been a rise from 22.74% schools providing computers to about 27% schools providing computers. And in quantity, we can also see the number of schools have increased from about 2,45,000 to about 3,36,000. So these are some parameters that over a period of time have helped children to come to school and get affiliated to the school. Now, all these parameters are interesting to note, but it's also important to see what's the impact on enrollment, actual impact on enrollment and the quality of education. So with all these improvements taking place, it's necessary to see whether we have a committee in school which actually manages all of this. And one can very clearly see that with all those improvements taking place, there's a significant rise in the number of school management committees being formed. 35.69% schools had school management committees in 2010-11. This has gone up to about 71% in 13-14, which is almost a 100% increase in the parameter. With the increase in SMC, what's interesting to note are some of the correlations that we have seen. So those schools that provide percentage schools with SMC, as it increases, one also finds that services or offerings like MDM, that is midday meals, also rises. And one can also see this trend if I go by the academic year. I find that as the years go forward, the number of states are moving towards a positive correlation, which basically again impacts that if you have a structured process, you have a structured team, things like midday meals and other offerings are easy to manage. If we pull this back to 11 and 12, one will also see that what's the impact of the same on the enrollment. So if schools which are providing MDM are increasing, one also finds that there's a positive correlation with the enrollment, and that's the correlation that we've been able to find, that as schools increase in terms of offering midday meals, there's a positive correlation with the government enrollment. Another parameter which the government of India set out to do is by providing midday meals, bring children to schools. So having understood all these parameters and seeing what has a positive correlation or not, we have seen that there is enrollment. But what is interesting to also identify is that with enrollment, is the quality of education good? So we know that we have teachers who are qualified. We know that there are a lot of actions that have been taken which provides amenities. We have also seen a correlation with enrollment. But at the end of the day, the bottom line is, are we having quality education? And that we have tried to summarize by seeing the last graph of this dashboard, which talks about the percentage repeaters. So here is a classification of the repeaters, and one can very clearly see that the percentage of students who are repeating the sections has gradually decreased. What was 4.29% in 2010 and 11 has decreased all the way to about 1.248%. So while the enrollment is going up, while the number of classrooms are increasing, number of schools are increasing, the repeaters are coming down, which is a direct impact of all the good work that the government of India and the state government are doing by providing amenities, by providing qualified teachers, thereby helping improve the literacy rate of the country. With that, I will take you to the final slide, which talks about the key takeaways. The key takeaways basically are that the literacy rate in India has increased from about 55% to 67% for the period. The Right to Education Bill has been a game changer in helping children in the rural parts of India receive education. There has been a significant increase in the number of schools. The private schools are also part of this growth. There's been a significant improvement witnessed in the quality of facilities being provided. The developmental grants by the state governments and center have shown a direct correlation with the enrollment ratios. Schemes like the midday meal are showing a positive correlation with enrollment, which is a good sign. And at the end of the day, the quality of education has improved as we have seen that the repeater percentage is reducing. Thank you.